Hi home cooks! Today I'm in the kitchen making buttermilk pancakes. These easy buttermilk pancakes comes together with only simple ingredients, and they give you that classic diner style texture. So if you've been looking for how to make that classic stack of thick buttermilk pancakes at home, then you're in the right place. I always make this foolproof pancake recipe when we have some kids sleeping over. They're light, airy, and perfect for soaking up some maple syrup. These pancakes are always a hit, and they're even more fun if you set them up with a homemade topping bar. Skip those store-bought pancake mixes. These are super light and fluffy and come together with only a few kitchen staples. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make homemade buttermilk pancakes. First, we're going to get started with the easy pancake batter. Now, if you want to make this recipe and you don't really use buttermilk or you don't have any buttermilk on hand, you can absolutely still make this recipe. Two of my favorite ways to make quick and easy buttermilk without running to the store is to either mix together milk and yogurt or to mix together milk and some sort of acid like lemon juice or vinegar. For the first buttermilk substitution, you're going to mix together half milk and half plain yogurt. So for this recipe, since I need 1.5 cups of buttermilk, I'm going to mix together 3/4 of a cup of milk and 3/4 of a cup of yogurt. Then I'm just going to give it a stir until the yogurt thins into the milk. For the lemon juice method, I'm going to stir 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar into my 1.5 cups of plain milk. Once you start to stir these together, you'll notice the change in the milk's consistency quite quickly. To a large bowl, I'm going to crack in 2 eggs. I'm just going to beat these with a whisk until they're smooth. Then whisk in 1.5 cups of buttermilk, or 1.5 cups of your buttermilk substitution. Whisk this in with the eggs until everything is incorporated. And for some added richness, I'm also going to whisk in 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Now for my dry ingredients, sprinkle in 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Finally, I'm going to mix in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. For perfectly fluffy, soft pancakes, make sure you don't overmix the batter. A few little lumps and bumps is fine. As I'm mixing the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, you can already see all those leaveners making all the little bubbles throughout the batter. This is going to make the pancakes light and airy and will give us a fluffy, thick stack in the end. Now I already have some pans preheating to medium-low heat. I'm just going to add a little bit of butter to each pan to coat the bottom. Scoop in about 1/2 cup of the batter. I'm giving my batter a gentle swirl with the scoop to make sure I get that round pancake shape. Then once you see the sides starting to set and bubbles breaking on the middle surface of the pancake, it's ready to flip over to the other side. This usually takes about 2 minutes. After about 1 minute more on the other side, you can remove your pancake to a plate. Keep an eye on your pancakes as you're cooking them. You may need to adjust the temperature of the pans as you go. And if you're making a big batch of these pancakes, you can keep them warm by placing them onto a baking sheet and keeping them in a very low oven until you're ready to serve them. And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.